depend on any external force. When one becomes an awakening being, full awakening being, there's no amount of an external attack, insults, an external dispute, damages, an external dents can get into you, because you are awakening. You are awakening because you are operating beyond the three-dimensional level. You are operating beyond the five senses of carnal-minded people. An awakened person is a person who operates consciously within himself, by himself, into the other dimensions. Conscious. He doesn't need for any deity to transport him there. He doesn't need for any deity to take him there. He doesn't need for anybody to get him through. He doesn't need to invoke any external force for his assignments. An awakened being can sit quietly like this, yet he is everywhere. An awakening being can tell you that I will come to you tonight, and you shall see him tonight, because he is consciously awakening, and he has broken the illusion of time and space. He can appear everywhere at the same time. He can appear anywhere same time, because to him time and space does not exist. But when you call yourself a waking being, but you have a lot of deities in your room that you evoke, that you give assignments, that you pour libations to, that you give ceremonies to, that you do so many things, I am telling you, you are not awakening. You can be classified as a person who have been sparked, because life have taught you a very rare lessons, and that lesson has finally sparked something in you. And what has been sparked in you is giving you the zeal and the morale from the external world. But when your internal being, when your internal world is at peace, the internal is the one that gives birth to the external. Like a story being narrated to you by a grandfather, then you say to the grandfather, before I believe what you tell him, I'm going to ask your grandchild, your granddaughter, your grandson. And the story was an ancient story. So the grandson and the grandfather, who was supposed to narrate an accurate story, or an accurate information to you. So by saying that you are going to ask his granddaughter or his grandchild, that makes you a carnal person. So an awakening starts from within after a person is being activated. And when a person is being activated, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of diversity, there are a lot of methods, there are a lot of portals that this person will begin to shut down. When one is awakening and when one is sparked, there are so many practices, there are so many things that one would do, and those practices will lead that person to begin to shut down a certain portals. And when those portals begin to shut down, and they finally shut down to the totality, then the inner self begins to awaken, the inner Christ, the inner consciousness, the inner God begins to wake up. When the inner Christ begins to wake up, one becomes an independence. This is what we call awakening. So what you see on the internet, people call themselves so-called awakened beings, yet they invoke and evoke external entities, and when you come to them or when you go to them, they do those stuff and tell you that you are awakening being. That is a lie. That is deceitfulness. When you come to me and I evoke an external force, I will not tell you now you have been awakening. You are sparked. You are in the process of awakening. As time goes on and you are fully awakening, you expel and disperse and get away from the external force, because you finally get to know that what the external so-called spirit can do, the internal can do better than it. This is what we call full consciousness. This is what we call awakening. And awakening, you see, a spark is what we call a spiritual advocate. And an awakening is what we call spiritual understanding. You can be sparked doing so many things, doing so many spiritual stuff, doing so many spiritisms,